It's good. When Naki's not here, at least someone else sings to start the show. We had Willie singing to start the show this week, so yeah!
I try. So I was at this party one night a couple years back.
Oh god, I love how this starts already.
It was a little small house party. There was like about 10, 15 people there. And the owner of the house, he comes up to me, pulls me to the side, says, hey, Willie, hey, you want to pull a prank?
I like this.
I'm like, sure, okay. So he pulls me back into the very back where it has a wash and dryer room in the back door. And he says, all right, we're going to take these aprons, we're going to put them on, we're going to walk out the back door, and we're going to come in through the front door. I'm like, I don't get it, but sure. Then he starts taking off his shirt. I was like, oh, just the aprons. I got you. So I'm like, okay. We strip down, put on the aprons, walk out the back door, and sure enough, we come knocking on the front door. Boom, boom, boom. They open it up, and we just strut on in, just showing our asses to everybody. And if you don't believe me, there is
oh dear.
Photo proof.
Oh my god.
There is most certainly photo proof.
That was my little opening, if you'd like it.
I approve. I think that's the best thing I can say.
You can describe the photo if you want to.
No, I don't.
It was just sexiness live on screen.
It was safe for work, just like
It
a little
was.
sliver of an ass.
That's true. There's nothing showing.
This old beefy man ass.
That's how we get people in. We use a little bit of man ass to get people to come into All Things Good and Nerdy. Welcome, on that note, to episode 177. Maybe we'll call this a little bit of man ass this week.
Are you just naming the episodes after me now?
I was just going to call this one the Extended Willie originally.
That's better than calling it "fuck you" clickbait.
Yeah. I mean, the Extended Willie is also a viable show name, I think.
That's true. The extended Willie would work.
We'll see what
That'll
happens.
definitely get us some clicks.
I mean, this is back-to-back weeks for you, Willie. We're going to make you be tired of us soon if we're not careful.
No, I got stamina for days.
I'm not going to say a word. Not going to say a word. But a big thank you to Willie for joining us again this week. We're doing the intro all out of order like I normally do. But Willie's back again this week just to be our normal guest host. And Jeannie's here this week to be the new Naki.
Oh.
Is that a compliment?
Just a fill-in, not a replacement.
I have to say penis, penis, penis.
You can say it as much as you want, I guess. I mean, but she talks about robot penis a lot.
Robot penis.
Oh, God, we're already off the rails.
As we should be. Happy Sunday morning.
Yeah, happy Sunday morning. Welcome to the live recording of episode 177 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, September 20th, 2015. And everyone in the chat room just can't get over all your hair, Willie. That's the big thing I'm seeing right now.
Yeah. I forgot I had long hair.
You had long hair then, sir, before you were part of the Bald Brotherhood.
Yeah, it was so nice and luxurious. I sometimes miss it.
But it's a lot easier to get out of the shower and be like, I gotta dry my hair and go. And that's all you gotta do.
I need to shave mine. It's getting a little peach fuzzy.
At least that's what I tell myself to feel better about having no hair sometimes. What can you do?
Well, some of us can grow it back. That's what we can do, Chris. Now, what you
Share.
can do, I don't know.
There's expensive surgeries, but I'm far too not caring to spend money on my hairline. Let's put it that way.
And fucking stupid people being vain anyways.
I gotta spend all my money on podcasting equipment right now.
That's right. That's right. You got a beard to play with. You still got some hair. It's not
All
like
my
you got
hair
alopecia.
moved from here to
Just
here.
migrated.
It migrated to my face to hide the ugliness.
And
It's like
soon
we gotta.
it will show up on your shoulders.
Well, mine started stopping right here, but then it kept on going all the way down here.
Oh dear.
And I was stopping at my toes.
Oh dear. It's like he's wearing a fur coat.
It's nice in the winter.
But not so nice in the summer, I wager.
I deal with it.
He said he still got sand from the last 3 times he went to the beach on him.
Oh, I forgot all about that, yeah. I don't even know how to transition off of this, guys. I'll be honest. So I'm just going to say,
Train wreck.
just
Dance it off.
it's time for news of the week.
Live from the AT&T studios on the internet. It's the news of the week.
So when Chris doesn't know how to transition to a new topic because he's flustered, he just hits the button on the soundboard. That's right, kids. It's time for the news of the week because I had no idea how to transition onto a new topic because I'm an awesome podcast host.
It works. It works.
Oh, dear. So, I don't know. Who wants to go first with their news? I'm not going to pick people. Not right away, unless nobody volunteers.
The Forza, those are the games that like I can.
Whoa, somebody's got audio coming through.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's have Jeannie go first. Ladies first.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, yeah, I can go first.
Yeah, let's do it.
Recently, J.J. Abrams did an interview with MTV, and during one of those questions, that he was only answering yes or no. He was not getting into details. One of them was one of the things that I think we as fans have wanted to know. Will midichlorians make an appearance in The Force Awakens? And the answer is no.
Yay! That's all I could say was yay. And as that happens, I hear like the Final Fantasy victory music in the back of my head. I'm like, yes, we win!
Exactly. The Force is the Force, not biological bullshit.
Yeah, well, I can understand why Lucas went there to a certain extent. He wanted to, kind of make it a little more science-y. But Star Wars is very, very rooted in fantasy. The Force is magic.
It's
And
space magic.
Okay with that.
Slightly sciencey, it shouldn't be a quantifiable number.
Yeah, exactly.
Like where you can literally put two Jedi next to each other, measure their midichlorians, and say this guy's stronger in the Force than that guy.
My
That made
Force
it
stick is bigger than
ridiculous.
yours.
Yeah,
That's basically what it came down to.
Not that.
No,
I
I
mean,
said
you
the word Force dick and it's stuck in my head.
Yeah, if you're sensitive to the Force, you should be able to possibly feel how powerful the other person is, but not, yeah, exactly. You shouldn't be able to quantify it.
Yeah. Oh, he has 3 more midichlorians than me. I can't beat him in a fight. That's fucking stupid.
I treated midichlorians as like IQ number. It's a potential. You don't necessarily live up to that. You could
I
be
guess that'd be
super
one way to
smart,
think
but you
of it.
don't use it.
I like that. I'll like that from now on.
Like most Americans.
At least that's my thoughts.
You
Yeah.
could be super smart. You're not, but you could be.
So I wonder if do you think that they have a Mensa club for midichlorians?
The highest level Jedis. If you have over 1.3 million midichlorians, you can get into our club.
I like it. I like that one a lot, actually.
That's going to be Chris's new project.
No,
He
I'm
can't
too.
get into the Mensa Club or the Men's Hair Club, so he's going to start the midichlorian club.
But I'm in the Gonna Geek podcast club with everyone here.
This is true.
Oh, put that in your pipe and smoke it, sir.
Well, yeah, you're in the club. You're on 7 of the goddamn podcasts.
Not that many, but too many probably.
I think you and Wing are competing.
Nah, Wing stepped back his game some. I gotta step up my game to take the lead.
Wing is insecure about his, French Canadianness. So
French Canadianness makes him podcast more.
He fears the H.
He does.
Happy Harry Hard-On can kick Wing's ass.
Speaking of people kicking ass, I don't know if you guys heard this one. Stick is coming back for season 2 of Daredevil for 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Nice. Love me some Scott Glenn.
Oh man, he was fantastic. They did an interview with Jeff Loeb, and they said after seeing Scott's performance in the first season, we knew we had to bring him back for more. He's an extraordinary actor, and we leapt at the chance to expand on his adventures with Matt and Daredevil. And if you watch Daredevil, you know they set him up to do a ton more going forward. So I think this means we're going to get a lot more of the backstory coming in season 2.
Well, I think we're also going to keep they're going to keep adding more to I want to say the hand, because we're going to keep getting more references to the Ninja Clan and why the Japanese were dealing with Kingpin to get those buildings.
Right. And I can't wait, because the more awesome backstory they give me in Daredevil, the more awesome backstory there will be in all of the Marvel Netflix shows, because we know those are going to be tightly coupled together.
Indeed.
yeah,
Plus, come on, man, we get John Barenthal as Detective Frank Castle.
Yeah.
There was nothing else in season 2. I would watch it just for that.
Well, we also need some. I would kill for some John Barrowman on this show too.
I was just thinking the same thing.
See,
He
who,
would bring
who
John
should
Barrow
Barrowman be in the Marvel universe?
I don't know, but did you guys see the pictures that Michelle posted probably a couple weeks back from Dragon Con where she got to lace him into a corset?
Big ups to Michelle Flam, attacking Captain Jack from behind,
That was awesome. Yeah,
strapping him down.
there's literally pictures of her lacing him up into the corset at her booth that she was working at Dragon Con. I was like, that's fantastic.
Indeed.
Only John Barrowman would do that.
He also did a panel, I don't know if it was at Dragon Con or another con, where he came out in a TARDIS dress with pumps on.
Ooh, oh, wow.
Nice.
And then he did a little spin for the room so they could see the TARDIS dress flow. I mean, it's John Barrowman, man. He does awesome, funny stuff.
He is just awesome.
To
When I was at
for Stephen Moffat to include Jack Harkness at some point, please. I want to see him in Capaldi. That would be awesome.
So I know at one point in season 1 of Arrow, that was when they were doing the Doctor Who Christmas special to bring in the new Doctor or the end of Matt Smith's run or something like that. And the showrunners of Arrow had told Barrowman straight up, like, hey, we love Doctor Who, so if you get the chance to go back and be Captain Jack, we'll work around it. They're like, we don't care. We'll work around it. We'll figure out what to do on here.
Nice. When I was at Salt Lake City Comic-Con last year, he was there next to I can't remember her name, the star of Torchwood, the brunette.
Oh, Eve Miles?
Eve Miles. They were sitting there like talking trash to each other at their table up at the head of
fantastic.
the lines, going back and forth. And I was looking for the wife at the time, trying to see if she was in Barrowman's line, because I think she was. And so I was back behind all the lines, and there's probably 100 people waiting for each of them. And all of a sudden, Barrowman gets up from his table and runs around the front of it and goes to attack her. She runs away, and as they go running through the crowd, all the way out basically like to about 5 feet in front of me, he tackles her on the floor and starts tickling her and kissing her on her neck. And the whole time she's just laughing her ass off and basically has to make him stop so she doesn't pee her pants. Like, that dude is just, he's fucking crazy. He always has fun no matter what he's doing.
So,
and the crowd loved it. Like, cell phones just came out of nowhere. Everybody started recording it.
I have to wonder.
Hilarious.
I have to wonder what happens on the set of Arrow, and I have a feeling I just wandered into some twisted, dark fan fiction because I imagine someone has probably written something where he does that to Stephen Amell.
More than likely, and Diggle, and Red Arrow, and all the other sexy guys on the show.
Story that both he and Stephen Amell have told about the first time he was on set, and they were filming.
Yes.
I don't think I heard that. Is there a story about that?
He well, first of all, the guy who plays Black Canary's father, I can't remember.
Paul Blackthorne is seriously method.
He's seriously method. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna skip a bunch of stuff because I'm going by memory, but he does this. John does this super serious confrontation thing with Stephen, and then walks off camera and turns around and does this big snap flare thing with his leg up. And Blackthorne's there, and nobody could hold it together.
Yeah, the way I understood it is Blackthorne's back was to Barrowman when he did this, so Stephen Amell can see him over Blackthorne's shoulder, and then just busts up laughing, and he says something to the effect that Paul Blackthorne looks at me and goes, "Damn it, Barrowman!"
Like he knew who it was even without seeing it.
The best is they told this story at 2 separate cons. There's someone that has intercut this video together of Stephen Amell and John Barrowman telling the story, and it's almost line by line the same. And the best is at the end where they both do their little jazz hands type thing with the leg kick up, because it is like they synchronize it together in the video, and it's hilarious, this story they're telling. That show has to be fun to work on.
I'll later.
So we're talking about Paul Blackthorne. Naki's in the chat room for a little bit right now. She goes, Paul Blackthorne was Harry Dresden, and even though that show was god-awful, I would still have him as Harry Dresden. Yeah.
And Drasmus said this is why we cannot have people like Barrowman be the face of the gay community. He proves that being gay is too much fun.
I love John Barrowman. He's awesome.
Hell yeah. He is great.
And all I can picture is him doing that little elaborate jazz hands and leg kick thing right now.
Yep.
I want to see him and Neil Patrick Harris do a dance-off.
Oh my God. The
Jack
geek
too.
community's collective head
Jack
would explode.
loves dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Three of them. That would
This
be
would
awesome.
be awesome. So we don't gush anymore over John Barrowman because there's danger of us not getting off this topic. I'm going to toss it to you, Willie. What'd you have for your news this week?
All right, I'm not sure if this is good news or bad news. Probably bad. But apparently a writer and producer for Fantastic Four, Simon Kinberg, has stated that he's going ahead with a Fantastic Four sequel. He says, "I'm really focused on the next one. I was obviously disappointed in the last one. It is expected that Fantastic Four will lose $80 to $100 million.
So if I had
How do you like that?
If I had my soundboard set up properly, this would be where the Darth Vader thing from Episode 3 came up, where he goes, "No!" Kind of like that, only a little more audible.
So apparently it's going to be a little bit longer for Marvel to get those rights back.
Well, I mean, they're sticking to their guns. You gotta give them credit for that. I mean, the superheroes are the big thing right now, so they have the potential to make a lot of money off of that. But
They wanted a shotgun, but that was the guy with a little pea shooter.
yeah, I
That
know,
was
right?
it was a 22 Derringer that misfired. So they can stick to their gun. It ain't gonna win a gunfight.
So the thing that's interesting to me in this one is they're not talking about rebooting the reboot. They're talking about just, all right, kind of stuck with this. Let's move forward from here. So if they can kind of how do I put this best? If we take like Ang Lee's Hulk movie and make the parallel to the Incredible Hulk, it's not a reboot. They just kind of ignore the fact the last movie happened.
Don't
If you-
remind me of that one.
If you do that with the Fantastic Four, I think you have a better shot. Just kind of gloss over all the shit that happened in the last movie that nobody cares about, and just go forward making an Incredibles-esque movie with those
That
characters.
will only work if they're able to keep the actors.
Well, they're
Yeah, I
under
think
contract
they-
for multiple movies, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
But
said
I'm
he's
saying
gonna keep
if
his
they
actors.
try, because looking at Ang Lee to Incredible Hulk, it was the whole change over to Ed Norton taking over everything.
That's
And
true.
so that was a much different feeling movie. But yeah, I mean, Fox could do that and just kind of try to wiggle around the awful storyline in the first movie, but they really do need to bring those actors back, because as bad as a lot of that film was, some of those actors put in some really good performances, and they tried their damnedest with crappy material.
So
Yeah.
Draftsman's in the chat room. He asks, so how do they polish a turd? And I'll say, I don't know in regards to this movie, but the Mythbusters proved you could polish a turd.
They did.
It has to be
Indeed.
lion turds.
Hey, and
I'm-
Fox has been polishing turds for years. What's coming out in February? Deadpool.
also
They're
think-
polishing the fuck out of a turd from Wolverine Origins.
Yep.
I think that Fox is also going to keep an eye on how well they do with Civil War.
Yeah.
To see if a partnership with Marvel might be a viable thing.
Well, so I wouldn't worry about Civil War, to be honest. It would be Guardians 2 is the next one on the slate that might worry me a little bit, because Guardians was lightning in a bottle, and it caught a lot of people unexpected, and they really enjoyed it. I don't know how easy it's going to be to recapture that with a sequel. I hope they do, and this is not being negative. It's me just saying it's going to be tough.
Guardians
Because-
2 will make half the money that Guardians 1 did. Half.
Oh my gosh! Can I share with you guys the fan speculation that I heard that I think is just fantastic this week?
Sure.
Well, you heard about the Italian interview with Mark Ruffalo, right?
Yes.
The speculation that I heard was, what if we're going to see Hulk in Galaxy 2?
So I was
And
with
that-
you until I read an article this morning.
Uh-oh.
James Gunn just did an interview in the last couple days, and I can't find the source. If I find it, I'll put it in the show notes. I apologize. I literally read it like right before the show, where he debunked that and said, no, the Hulk is not in Guardians 2.
Darn it.
Now, it would be awesome if that was what happened, but
Wait. He said the Hulk is not in Guardians 2?
Ooh.
I cannot remember the exact phrasing.
I was saying, because the phrasing matters, because we could get Bruce Banner in Guardians 2, and that leads
Potentially.
to Planet Hulk. If he said the Hulk's not in it, and he didn't say Bruce Banner's not in it,
But see,
Yeah, well,
here's why you're
saying-
not getting Planet Hulk anytime soon, because they
That's
need
one of
Hulk
those
on
things that-
Earth. They need
Yeah.
Hulk on Earth for Infinity War, so you're not getting it anytime
Exactly.
soon.
well,
there-
I'm pretty sure
there's a
Infinity War
possibility.
isn't all going to take place on Earth.
yeah, there is a possibility of a sting, though. I mean, because how many times have we seen what's his face, Roland, and we haven't seen him in a movie yet.
That's true.
We know he's coming. So there's still possibility.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. The other thing, the other part of me is going, that Quinjet isn't powerful enough to leave the atmosphere of the Earth. So how is he going to get to space?
Yeah, the Quinjet's not going to take him to Planet Hole, but it could take him somewhere else. It could take him up to the sword platform that's orbiting the Earth.
Ooh, they haven't even brought up sword.
Phase 5.
Phase 5, I love it.
Yeah. Just because they haven't mentioned it doesn't mean it's not there yet.
But
They didn't
honestly,
mention AntMan, but apparently he was running around World War II with caps.
that's true. Honestly, this is part of the
storyline sometimes.
This is part of the fun of the MCU, though, is just making these rampant speculations to try and hope we'll be right and do like the fantasy casting and fantasy plotting. It's too much fun. I won't do it with Star Wars because I learned my lesson with the prequels because fan casting and fan direction was better than the actual prequels.
Now, I didn't have a follow-up to this.
Uh-oh.
What was your worst sequel that you hated the most that you were looking forward to?
Episode 1.
Really?
No,
Sequel.
I don't know. I have to think for a second.
Maybe one of the Jurassics.
I'm going to have to say the one I was looking forward to the most and I hated was Kick-Ass 2. I loved that first movie.
See, I never saw it.
What's wrong with Kick-Ass 2?
It was horrible.
Kick-Ass 2 was great.
That Matthew Vaughn touch.
It was great. It was just like the comic.
No.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
The editing was so horrible.
Sucked.
Okay, so as I think about it, Matrix 3. Matrix 3. That one really let me down. I don't know. I try to be positive in my movie experiences, despite how much I might bitch on the internet about them.
I can tell you the sequel that most surprised me.
Ooh, intriguing.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Ah.
So I'm going to take my beating on this show. I still have not seen Mad Max Fury Road.
You're not alone in that.
Dude.
Please feel free to publicly flog me.
That's all right. I have a friend at work. She was talking about how much she enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road and then admitted that she hadn't seen the first 3 films. It's like, you're not even a Mad Max fan. Like, you don't even know who George Miller is. What the fuck? He's like, but it was so good. I'm like, yeah, but it's so much better if you actually know something about Mad Max, which you don't fucking learn shit about Max in that new film.
No, you don't.
Do you learn anything about him in the old ones?
Well, yeah, in the first one you find out why he's so mad. After that, he does pretty much quit talking. But at least in the first film, you get an idea of who he is as a man. But yeah, that new one, it could have been called The Adventures of Furiosa. Like, it wasn't a Mad Max movie. Mad Max was just in it.
It's on my list. I'll get to it. When it hits the red box, that's when I'll do it. Or
It is a
HBO.
good one.
Should be hitting it soon.
It should be.
It's sad if you couldn't catch it at a dollar theater, though, because it is worth seeing on the big screen, because it is goddamn beautiful.
It
So
is.
I'm looking in the chat room, and Jurassman goes, well, we all know who George Miller is. He's the director of Babe, Pig in the City.
He is.
He is, but if that's how you... He's
You know
also
It was-
rumored to be the director of Man of Steel 2.
Oh.
The indefinitely
Wow.
on hold Man of Steel 2?
That is supposedly indefinitely on hold. The reason he supposedly is on board is supposedly there's a strong talk of Supergirl in Man of Steel 2. Kara Zor-El supposedly is a big deal in there. That's
Mix it
internet
with the
rumors,
show?
though. Sorry, Willie?
They're going to mix it with the show?
I doubt that.
No, because, yeah, DC has stated that the shows will not cross over, so that would be new casting for another Supergirl before the new Supergirl TV shows even come on. That would be another bad decision by DC if they do that.
And you just mentioned that show. I'm so super dumb excited for that show. Like, I'm dumbstruck by how excited I am for that, because at first I was like, yeah, Supergirl. But as I keep seeing stuff come out of there, I'm like, this is what a Superman or an L family show should be like. It should be fun and not dark, and something people take inspiration from. Like the pictures of Melissa Benoist, or however you say her name, on set with the Girl Scouts wearing Supergirl T-shirts. It's fantastic. I'm like,
Those were awesome.
that's what it's about. Superman,
Okay.
Supergirl, the whole L family, they're role models. You should look up to them.
Yeah.
Question then, I saw photos yesterday on Twitter of supposedly the red tornado from Supergirl. Were those real?
I don't know. I saw the pictures myself this morning, and I have no confirmation as to whether they're real, fake, or whatnot.
Okay, because that's going to be something to look at, because that was a weird-looking suit.
I mean, it sort of looks like the kind of stuff they've designed in the other DC TV shows, so I wouldn't think it's not. I don't
It
know.
just seems weird that would be the character they jump to, is all of a sudden we're going to toss Red Tornado into Supergirl?
Well, I'd heard rumors he was in Supergirl.
Huh? I guess, I mean, they could do worse. He's been used in some pretty cool storylines in the DC universe. Just, yeah, it was a weird-looking picture.
It's true. I don't know. What they do in that regard, I have no damn clue. I just know I'm super ridiculously excited for that. Like, Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all the comic book TV shows that are coming back. I'm like, I'm on board, guys. You got me. I want them.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I want to.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Secret Warriors.
Thing.
Secret Warriors is going to be good.
Yeah.
And Chloe Bennett looks cute with her short hair, now that she's Quake.
Yeah, I love her short hair.
She's Daisy now. She's no longer Sky.
Yeah, that Quake costume is pretty badass.
Yeah. All the costumes are pretty awesome on there. And I am personally, I will say, ever since Ward made his heel turn, I've been a big Ward fan. I can't wait to see what they do with him this season.
Yeah, Ward is the head of Hydra. Spoiler alert, is going to be fucking awesome.
You spoiled it.
I said spoiler alert.
You didn't give a lot of time for a
I
spoiler.
don't care. I don't care.
On the
Ward's
one hand-
running shit. Deal with it.
On the one hand, I'm bummed that that Ward did his heel turn and he hasn't come back. But on the other hand, I think he's done a fantastic job, and they're doing a really cool job with that entire storyline. But yeah, I'm
Yes.
still he's a bad guy.
Well, and I think they missed an awesome opportunity to have him appear in AntMan.
Yeah.
Because AntMan was all about Hydra wants to buy this. At least have him appear talking to one of his agents or something like that. Like, we need this, something like that. It would have been really cool crossover.
That would have been a nice little quick one to do.
Then you're running into salaries, and they don't want to go there.
That's quite true, too, I'm sure.
No,
That's
but
why
he's basically an unknown TV actor. How much is his salary? It can't be too fucking high.
That's the problem. If he goes in the movie, it's going to be more.
They give him $40. I bet he'd do an appearance in the movie.
Yeah,
Just
it depends on
be in one.
what does the Screen Actors Guild say, or whatever the Film Actors Guild in this regards, because there's probably some kind of rules that dictate what the pay scale needs to be, and
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
like $300 a day or something.
Yeah,
for
I have
minimum.
no
Well,
idea.
it's not even that. What the problem is if their actor playing this same role goes into a successful movie playing this same role, that means that the next negotiation for his contract means his salary skyrockets, which
good
ups the budget for the show.
Yep. And that
Yeah,
budget's
well.
high enough for that show already.
That's
That's
true.
why. That's why
Until
both
Marvel replaces RDJ, they'll have to keep paying people.
Yeah, pretty much. They pay out the ass to make that show, but I'm not complaining because for TV, those special effects are awesome in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, they are really good.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, at least.
By comparison, they show you everything that could be done right that is done wrong with Powers, where the special effects were poop.
That's why I haven't seen it yet. But, Anthony, what'd you have for your news to wrap up the opening News of the Week segment?
My news of the week is DC is finally going to give a hand to Bill Finger and kind of pull their heads out of their asses. For those that don't know, there's been a couple of documentaries and basically a couple of people really fighting for the Bill Finger estate to give him credit as the co-creator of Batman. When it was originally done, let's see, where's the article? Yeah, Bill Finger worked with Bob Kane on early Batman comic strips as well as co-creating Green Lantern and other characters for the company, and he will now be receiving official credit for his work in film and television projects based on his creations. So the upside is in Gotham starting this season and in Batman vs. Superman, when it says Batman created by, it won't just say Bob Kane. It will say Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
I
The
can like that.
downside is that they're not saying that they're going to do it for the comics yet, which I find highly disappointing, and it's probably part of whatever contract they have for the publishing rights and stuff. But yeah, for those that don't know, Finger made here's a number of critical contributions to the Batman mythos, including coming up with the name of the hero's alter ego Bruce Wayne, the city in which the hero fights, Gotham, and he's the co-creator of Robin, Catwoman, and the Joker. Basically, if you look back at the original storyline that Bob Kane came up with, you had a blonde guy that looked like Green Hornet wearing a Leonardo da Vinci Batwing suit and like capturing a criminal on the street and dropping him off at a police station. That's pretty much all Bob Kane came up with. Almost everything else that we think of as Batman came out of Bill Finger's head. And so the fact that it's taken this long for him to get credit is really sad, but I'm super stoked that they're finally doing it, and I hope they follow up by making it to where eventually the comics will also say created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
That would be awesome. That's
So
the
would you
right thing
say-
to do.
So would
Absolutely.
you say they stopped giving the finger to Finger?
Pretty much,
Oh!
finally. Well, and yeah, Bill Finger died in 1974, so they've been giving well, they found one last living, I think it's his granddaughter, is the last living member of the Finger family. So they've been giving her the finger, basically. And yeah, DC finally stopped that, at least partially. But yeah, I do still hope that they'll follow up, but hopefully there'll be some more negotiations to give him credit on the comics as well. Because one of the coolest things about, the Siegel and Schuster deal is that the comics say, created by Siegel and Schuster. Doesn't matter, the money part, whatever the family's going to fight for, I don't care. But the fact that the guys who created those characters aren't giving credit every single month when those books come out, that I think is fucking sad.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because the character should say who made them if not necessarily on the cover, definitely on the credits page of every damn comic that comes out. Because those companies are making millions off of characters like, Batman and Superman. And, it's all for something that they bought off, basically, freelance or, work to pay workers back in, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And Marvel had to go back and do a bunch of changes. Like people now realize that Steve Ditko is the co-creator of Spider-Man. It wasn't just Stan Lee. And, and a lot of these guys back in the, the 60s and 70s, they didn't fight for credit because they were just doing a job. It wasn't a big deal to them. So, it wasn't something where it's necessarily like Bill Finger wasn't fighting for credit, but it's people that are fans of his work that have fought for him to get the credit to basically, for being the co-creator of one of the largest, most, indomitable characters of all time. Batman's never going to go away. And Bill Finger helped, create what we know as Batman. So damn right he should have credit for it.
Absolutely. Well, we're in it. They're making billions off of him,
Yeah.
and they should absolutely get it. We're in an age where so many people are getting ripped off for their work, and people need to give credit for what they do.
Don't disagree with you there. I'm just happy that he's also going on the movie, supposedly, too, for writer credits, because, especially in light of the fact that Batman v Superman, we need more Batman. So it's basically Batman with a little Superman, is my understanding now. So it's the unofficial first Batfleck movie.
Ah, the Batfleck.
I'm looking forward to Ben Affleck as Batman. I think he'll do well.
I need to keep a soundboard on here, or a sound clip that's just Wayne going, Ben Affleck is Batman, and just play that every time we talk about it.
Yep.
But that is something we called on this podcast before it ever actually happened. So we're just continue to keep taking credit for that.
Hell yeah.
If I can say it right, because I just fucked up taking credit for it. Son of a bitch.
Proper credit. That's what I'm talking about, Chris. Proper credit.
That's what I'm talking. I'm all about it too. So before we move into the rest of the news, now you guys do know we're part of the Gonna Geek Network. There's some awesome shows that are on the network, but there's one I specifically want to talk about today, and that's the Starling Tribune, because we're almost back for Arrow. So we did a lot of Season 4 speculation, and this also gives me a chance to play a promo that Steven built for us probably about a year and a half ago for Arrow. So I wanted to play that for all of our listeners to get a chance to listen to, and maybe want to go listen to the Starling Tribune. So here you go. My name is Chris Farrell. After 7 days waiting for a new episode, I have come home with only one goal: to podcast about Arrow. But to do so, I can't be the explicit podcaster I once was. To save our listeners' ears, I must be someone else. I must become something else. But I can't be explicit according to this promo, so it really weirds me out. We've been sitting on that promo for like a year and a half. I think I've played it in a couple pre-show reels, but it had to be played.
I must become something fucking else. Oh, dang it!
There's a couple outtakes of that one. I had to record the audio separately for Steven to put together. The credit all goes to One Big Papa on that. I just did the voiceover work. He's the one that made it fit with the background music and found an isolated copy of the Arrow opening to be able to do it. So kudos to Steven for making that fit. I just did voiceover work. Anyone could have done that. But I love it, and I want to play it every once in a while to remind people to listen to Starling Tribune because it's just hilarious to me. There is another version of this one out there that actually has the CW comments and they like watch live on the CW, blah blah blah. But we took that off.
You need to send that to me.
I can send it to you. I have a copy of it sitting right here.
And no, not everybody could have done the voice work.
Oh man, I'm not good at vocals, man. I just talk on the radio or the internet. That's all I do.
You don't even know what you're talking.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on anymore, guys. I know nothing.
Chris is confused again.
Yeah. So we can do a couple random news stories as we wrap things up. But did you guys hear that Mark Hamill almost died on the Star Wars set while doing Star Wars?
Yeah, I heard about
Again?
that.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford tried to kill him with the Millennium Falcon?
No, so I guess what happened, I just saw this article on comicbook.com midweek, and they said the near tragic accident reportedly took place only a few weeks after Harrison Ford's injury on set, and it's just now being reported. Hamill was evidently climbing the treacherous steps, about 618 of them, on his way up to the top of a 6th century hilltop monastery. He slipped and would have been, quote, a goner if not for a guide from the Irish Office of Public Works who caught him. And just for clarification, in 2009, this same terrain, these same steps, it took out 2 American tourists in separate events. So we legit almost lost Master Skywalker here.
What is going on? What was going on that set? You know, the door tries to destroy Harrison Ford. He's falling downstairs. J.J. Abrams is breaking his back trying to save Harrison Ford. What is going on?
I don't know,
What's going on is they're fucking old.
Thing.
That's what's going on. They're fucking old.
Touche.
J.J. Abrams is not that old.
Yeah, but having to do Star Wars probably ages you a little bit.
Well, no, and he almost died trying to save an elderly gentleman.
Touche.
I love it. Oh, God, just think how sad it would have been, too. Fucking Luke Skywalker's taken out by a set of stairs.
Oh, man.
That would have been such a shitty epitaph.
Now I'm
the
sad.
Jedi Master dies to stairs. Oh. It would have been awful.
It would have been.
Yeah. So let's all be thankful Mark Hamill didn't die. My understanding is this had nothing to do with anything being filmed on set. This was just they had some time off and he wanted to go see this.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. I'm just glad that Mark Hamill's alive still because then we would have lost the Joker also. And that would have been 2 Jokers in like 5 years.
Blasphemy.
We would have lost the Killing Joke because they haven't done it yet.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been sad.
I want to see that.
I can't wait to see that. That's the one thing he said would bring him out of retirement from his Joker voice.
Yeah, because we're going to get the real Joker and the real Batman voices.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to update our news stories because there's a lot of stuff that's out of date on here.
Well, you do that, and I'll mention the fact that I'm this morning watching giant monsters punch giant robots because Pacific Rim is fucking awesome.
Good
Nice.
choice there.
But apparently, through bullshit happening between Legendary Pictures, Universal, and Warner Brothers, they're talking about Pacific Rim 2 being on hold, possibly indefinitely on hold, while at the same time, Guillermo del Toro has said that he's finishing the script and turning in a budget in 3 weeks. And so as far as he knows, he's moving forward. So they haven't actually apparently shut down everything. So he's still working on getting the thing made. But from what I heard, it was basically like just other films from those 3 not doing well enough that now they don't want to put the money behind Pacific Rim 2, which is fucking sad. If we don't get Pacific Rim 2 because other films of those companies did poorly, fuck all the money, guys, because they are pissing me off. Pacific Rim was awesome.
Yes.
I saw it. It was okay.
The best live-action anime movie ever.
It's giant robots punching giant monsters. What do you mean, okay? It was fucking amazing.
I meant exactly what I said. It was okay.
There is not a shot in that film that takes you out of it. The CGI is some of the best ever done in this day and age. Because there's no scenes where, like, the Incredible Hulk standing up on the cliff in the rain, where all of a sudden he's so overly rendered and has 18,000 highlights that he just looks like he's on a soundstage, which is weird because he wasn't even a fucking real creature. But yeah, they did it in Pacific Rim where you have giant robots fighting in the ocean, in the rain, in the dark, with reflective lights and different light sources, and the whole thing worked. Like, that company kicked ass on that one.
It was an enjoyable film. I don't like everything. I can enjoy some things without having to permanently like them. I like too
Damn
much
you,
stuff.
Chris.
Don't make me love this too.
I will tell you, though, in the meantime, while you're missing out on giant robots punching giant monsters, the last 3 issues of Dark Horse Presents has had a story from the Kill All Monsters crew. Michael May and Jason Copeland. So go pick that up if you need yourself some giant monster, giant robot action. It's another great story of their post-apocalyptic Earth where they have giant robots fighting giant monsters.
Nice. Well, so since we want some other good news that's out there, did you guys hear that AMC put in a series order for Preacher?
Yes.
I'm excited. I did not realize that Seth Rogen was an executive producer on this because he's the one that announced a 10-episode first season was ordered.
I saw pictures of him on set, and I saw pictures of the guy that they got to play Cassidy, and I am fucking stoked.
I have not read much Preacher, but I've heard good things, so it's on AMC. I have faith in them that they won't make it suck, because even shows that most people didn't like, I've enjoyed on there, because I loved Humans. Most people in America didn't love it.
Yeah. I loved
I
it
still
too.
haven't seen that yet.
I only have the last episode to go.
Now, what is the basic premise of Preacher?
Anthony, I'm going to toss this one to you, because I'm only
Basic
basically
premise
familiar.
of Preacher is a preacher in southern Texas who has basically fallen out of faith but is still doing his job, has a creature fall from heaven and strike him in the head. The creature is actually the birth child of an angel and a demon who had illegal Congress and gave birth to a child called Genesis. That child, when it hits Jesse Custer's head, becomes infused in his body, blows up his church, and kills all of his patrons. So he's the only one who lives through the explosion. And when he wakes up, he has an ability referred to as the Word of God, where basically, if Jesse Custer tells you to do something, you have to do it. If he tells you to go fuck yourself, you will rip your own dick off and shove it up your ass.
How?
Because you cannot not do what he tells you to do. That's his superpower. So with this superpower, he goes on a quest to basically track down God and hold him accountable, because he finds out that God has become an absentee landlord and is missing. So that's like the first 3 issues, and it went on for 5 years. It is one of the greatest stories I've ever read in comic book form. It will make a hell of a TV show, and it will piss off a lot of religious people, which is always a bonus.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, there's angels, there's demons, there's the saint of all killers. Imagine a supernatural, unkillable version of the baddest combination of Clint Eastwood from every Western ever. That is the saint of all killers. He's in it. He's awesome. Jesse Custer's super fantastic girlfriend, Tulip, who's a gun-toting badass chick. She's in it. His best friend is Cassidy, who's an Irish vampire. Like, it's full of craziness, epic storytelling, and just, the idea of it's basically a human hunting down God to hold him accountable. It's fucking great.
Well, and you know who's playing his girlfriend on this, right?
I saw, but I can't remember.
It's Flowers from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
The girl in the flower
that's right,
dress.
yeah. Which, yeah, she's an awesome actress, but it's weird because Tulip was a blonde, white-haired chick in the comics. But I don't know, that actress is great, so she could do it really well.
I just thought that it was entertaining that she got nicknamed Flowers on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and now plays a character named Tulip on Preacher. Yeah, that's more what I was going for with that one. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely a book. I mean, definitely, not all ages material. It is very, very adult. It's one of Garth Ennis' best. It might be his best work I think he's ever written. The entire thing is collected in trades and hardcovers. If you've got, a couple $100 to spend, I would suggest everybody go pick it up. If you haven't read Preacher, it is a fantastic fucking story.
Yeah, it's on my list. I'll probably read some of it because I'm sure they'll do some Comixology sale close to the show's premiere. So I'll read a bunch of the backstory on that one then. It's one that's always been on my list because everyone talks so highly about it.
I've never met someone that read Preacher and didn't enjoy it. There's a kid called Arseface who tried to commit suicide with a shotgun, and all he ended up doing was blowing his face off. And so the doctors sewed his face back together, and it looks like an asshole. And so the character's actually called Arseface. Like, it's amazing.
That is awesome.
Now, Chris, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the headline of this one news story, and I have to ask you about it.
Okay.
Post-credit scenes in Force Awakens.
So this came out, it was a rumor that hasn't been confirmed, but supposedly there is talk that Disney wants to do a post-credits scene in The Force Awakens that is a stinger for Star Wars Rogue One.
Ooh.
So it would be the first trailer or the first clips from Rogue One, which, for those that aren't familiar, is what tells the story of how the Death Star plans were procured in Episode 4.
Which, I can't remember who the director they got is, but it's a great director. That should be a fantastic film.
It's a great cast also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what the story was on that one, though, was that supposedly they would be Star Wars Rogue One previews, which I am totally on board for.
Hell yeah.
And you got to think, Disney has their audience trained already to stay through the credits.
Well, not even that. I stayed to the end of the credits of Phantom Menace just to hear the Vader.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I did too.
I'm a Marvel fan. I have no choice but to stay to the end of the credits.
Go Marvel.
Marvel is the only one I stay to the end of the credits for.
I generally look on, there's an app that'll tell you if there's anything post-credits, so I'll look when the credits start to roll on my cell phone and be like, oh, I don't have to stay for this one, I'm out.
There's an app for that? I didn't even know.
It's an app or a website, I can't remember which. I think it might just be a website I have a link to on my home screen.
I usually just Google.
That's the easiest thing to do. But since we talked about Star Wars, I don't know if you guys had heard this, but we all know Star Wars Battlefront is coming soon. It's going to have a level that tells the Battle of Jakku's story in it. Well, Electronic Arts has said there will be enough server capacity so that anyone that wants to play the Battlefront beta will be able to do so when the beta drops soon.
Yes.
So,
Damn it, I need a PS4.
if you have a PS4 or an Xbone, or I think even a PC in this case, I'm not 100% sure on the PC, you can go and play the Battlefront beta.
And we can't talk Star Wars and neglect the most important story of them all.
What's that?
That Disney plans to re-release the original trilogy.
Well, I was going to bring that up, but the thing is, this happens like every 3 months, basically. Someone else says it's going to happen. In this case, was what, John Landis that said it?
Yeah.
John Landis said it, and then Empire Magazine got the quote and ran with it. I wasn't going to bring it up at first just because it's always every 3 or 4 months there's someone else that says, oh, Disney's going to do it, and then we don't hear anything. Do I hope it happens?
I trust
yes.
John.
But here's the kicker. I finally caved and bought the Star Wars series on Blu-ray like 2 weeks ago when they were doing that sale at Target where it was like $25 off $100 of Star Wars stuff, because I was like, oh, I can do this. And now I'm sitting there, I'm like, God damn it, why did I buy that if they're going to re-release the originals?
Well, I think honestly, I think the biggest holdup is licensing with 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
The original holdup was that Lucas said he would never release them.
Well, 20th Century Fox has the rights for perpetuity for A New Hope.
Right. So if you bought the digital copies of the Star Wars trilogy when they or the Star Wars series when they came out, this is something I actually heard them talking about. You watch Episode 4, you have the 20th Century Fox fanfare before everything starts. The other movies do not have the 20th Century Fox fanfare in front of them, like you're used to hearing. So everyone's like, "You're so weird."
It does seem weird.
But speaking of Star Wars,
it's kind of weird.
yeah, I also was able to pre-order one of these Star Wars figures I've been waiting for forever. For those that aren't familiar, there is a Kmart exclusive Kylo Ren on Starkiller base. Totally pre-ordered that shit when it became available.
Holy moly!
Nice.
I need to order a BB-8.
Yeah, I have a BB-8 Funko Pop. That's about as good as it's getting for me because I'm not.
Where's that at?
Didn't you share a picture the other day on Facebook of the Funkos that you caved and had to buy on your way home?
Oh man, yeah, we went to go to IHOP for dinner, and then there's a Books A Million right there. So I went up to Books A Million, and they put literally 3 BB-8 Funko Pops out as I was there. I was like, well, this is a sign from God, the Star Wars God that is. So I picked that up, and then I was digging through the rest because I like to get the Arrow ones. They had a convention exclusive one that was the Arrow. But it was, he's just wearing the Arrow costume, but it's just Stephen Amell's head on top. So there's like no mask or no hood pulled back or anything like that. And I was like, okay, I'll take this one. Or no, excuse me, he's got the hood pulled up with just no mask, I think is what they're doing on this one, which I thought was cool. So I picked that up. Funko Pops are dangerous, kids. Don't start buying them because then you're like, oh, I must have more. And then
I must have the exclusive.
That's why you have to limit yourself to a grouping.
Well,
I have the villains from horror movies.
They don't make enough of these ones for me to get anymore. There's only a few Mass Effect ones.
That's true.
I'm Commander Shepard. This is my favorite Funko on the Citadel.
I did buy two others. I bought Jane and Kaylee from Firefly for me and my friend at work who were Jane and Kaylee for Halloween. But other than that, I've stuck to my rules of only villains from movies.
See, we are also part of the Marvel Collector Corps, or at least the girlfriend is, so we both get them. So we have the Hulkbuster and things like that. And then I saw them announce, I don't know if you guys had seen it, Funko's doing a Star Wars one now, too.
Yeah, was it the Smuggler's Bundle?
The Smuggler's Bounty or something like that. It's bad, man. It's bad. I can't afford all this.
I could drop like $200 a month just on like those geek boxes. Like, it's ridiculous how many there are and how awesome
here's
they
the
are.
I do arcade block.
There's only a few things in those boxes I would care about, so I'm kind of like, eh.
Yeah, me too. I don't have the storage for them.
Yeah, that's part of it,
other
too.
things into presents.
I mean, seriously, guys, there's way too many toys and stuff hanging up in my basement right now. Seriously. Way too many.
I think
way too many.
Look at all that wall space. You see all that white?
No.
There's a little bit of white space right there above Spider-Man, but that's about it.
Like 18 action figures could fit on that wall.
18 action figures. Yeah, I'm gonna get right on that.
36 Funkos stacked in the cubes.
Oh man, I have a problem and I need to stop. I'm just saying that live on the internet right now that I have a problem.
He doesn't mean it.
I'm going to look at Game of Thrones ones. Although I do have the random Illidan, but I got him for free.
Well, that's a valid reason then.
Wait, do they have all the Game of Thrones characters?
Most, I think.
Oh.
Is Tyrion like extra short?
No.
Yes. Oh, I thought it was.
I don't think he is. You know what? I don't know.
Because it'd be cute if he was really like just basically all head. His Funko boxes are so short anyways. If they actually made the body half the size, that would be ridiculously funny looking.
I'd laugh at that.
Truly is the imp.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love that guy.
Looking at the time, it's probably time for us to start wrapping things up. But before we do that, some of you guys might be aware there's a little fantasy football going on between some of the members of the network and just some other folks in general. We got a 10-team league going. So, kind of what I wanted to do is, since we've got so many people involved in the network, we're going to try and do some weekly updates on what's going on in the fantasy football world. And I might have just recorded a 1 and 14-second log segment that we can play during the podcast that gives you the week 1 matchups. And if you've been paying attention, some of the scores have already started because there were Thursday night games. But the intent I'm going to do here is what I'm hoping to do is each week recap the previous week's action so that anyone who wants to follow along what's going on in this league can laugh at our misfortune. So here you go, guys. Here's the week 1 matchups. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first installment of the Fantasy Football Update for the Killing Time League. You might be asking, why is this on a podcast? Because half the members of this Fantasy Football League are members of the Gonna Geek Network, so it's an excuse for us to put this on the show. In the future, you'll be getting scores and updates and potentially some of the trash talk that goes, but for now, let's just talk about the matchups we have in Week 1. Probably the leading match in Week 1, and I'm a little biased in saying this, is the Vinegar Strokes, my team, versus one Anthony Bachman's Rafi Bombs.
Rafi Bomb!
Week 2, we've got Yoba Goya facing up against my good buddy Wayne. His team is Wayne's Fine Team. The third game of the weekend, we've got Jay from Gallifrey Public Radio, Starling Tribune, all sorts of other things. His Pittsburgh Steelers are teaming up to take on the Double Entendres. If you see the spelling, you'll notice it's reference to the league. That's Logan's team. Next up, we've got Super Skeen's Password is Taco, taking on our very own Gonna Geek Network member, Cody, with the Unqualified Gamers team. And finally, the last match of the week, we have Fellblades taking on the New Jersey Lobsters, coached by John O. Lobster. Stay tuned for future updates from the Fantasy Football League. We'll have one coming out each week. The music for this segment is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found on Incompetech.com. So I'm legally allowed to use that music because I cited it.
Nice.
No, there's some awesome team names on here, but just a heads up, I think the Unqualified Gamers are going to be our basement dwellers this year, considering they drafted a kicker in like the 3rd round and Jordy Nelson, who's out for the entire year.
Wasn't that was it Cody's team where he was just on auto draft for like the first half?
Yeah, and then Yoba Goya was on auto draft the entire time, so he's got like a bunch of players that are injured and should come back in like week 10, but at that point in time, you're screwed.
Yeah, because somebody drafted Des Bryant who has a broken foot.
Yeah, and they just said he might be out for longer today, which nobody cares about as we're saying this. But that is the Week 1 update for fantasy football. We'll try and keep that going throughout the season because as long as I keep reusing that music and making it about that long, it's not too hard to produce.
Nice.
That's the current plan.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
My wide receiver, kicker, and defense put up 50 points against Chris already this week.
It's okay.
You're getting Rafi bombed.
We'll see what happens, man. I got Drew Brees playing Tampa.
Dude, you're
Come on.
eating pocket dogs. Deal with it.
We'll see what happens. This is what happens. If you get too cocky, you get smacked down. You got to be careful. You anger the fantasy football gods.
We'll see.
It bites you in the ass every time.
Mm-hmm. Don't piss off the football gods.
No, so you have Drew Brees. Who's your quarterback, Anthony?
I got Roethlisberger,
Ah. Ooh.
who put up some really good points last year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
I
matchup's
got
better
Jimmy
for me.
Graham, the tight end that went to Seattle, which every time Marshawn Lynch can't run the ball, that's who motherfucking Wilson's going to be throwing it to.
Yeah, have you watched Seattle play? Jimmy Graham didn't factor very well in their offensive plan in Week 1. He's not going to get anywhere near the numbers he had with the Saints, which is why I didn't draft him.
Not much, but I think that's going to change after what happened to them Week 1, and they fucking went to shit at the end of the game.
If you count on your tight end for the wins all season, you are going to lose your ass.
Oh,
Unless
no,
you got
I'm
Gronk.
I'm not counting on my tight end, but I know that he's going to put up some points.
He's already up by like 35 points because of his.
I got
defense
Emmanuel
and
Sanders.
Emmanuel
Every time he
Sanders.
blinks, Peyton Manning throws him the ball.
What he's neglecting to mention is Emmanuel Sanders had 7 fantasy points in Week 1.
Yeah, and he was projected for 10 in Week 2 and put up 20.7.
No, don't be a projection snob.
Oh, I'm a projection snob.
All right, so most people who are listening to this podcast give absolutely no shits about the fact we're talking about Dungeons
This
and
is
Dragons
true.
for geeks,
For
or for
geeks.
jocks rather. So, because that's basically what fantasy football is Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. That's how
It
I
is.
look at it.
It is indeed.
And I love it so much. But we're going to start wrapping up the show. We do that in our traditional way by sharing with our audience what we've been getting into, what we're planning on getting into the week ahead. So we'll let Anthony go last because he's generally got a stack of comics. Let's kick it to Willie. What have you been getting into? What are you planning on getting into?
Well, like usual, I'm back on track this weekend to be playing some Quiplash right after show at 12:30.
Nice.
And we have a special guest here playing with us. Oh, Brittany.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
And then other than that, I got a little snag in my Until Dawn playthrough. I apparently lost the game.
Oh.
Oh, no.
That's about as big of a snag as you can get, isn't it? Holy
So I gotta
shit.
find it. And hopefully have more than one episode up at youtube.com/South Porky.
That's
The game up and walk the fuck away. That's a
Pretty
pretty big
much.
snag.
I feel bad for you, Willie. I shouldn't laugh, but it's too damn funny.
It's alright, I lost my game of the year.
Oh, man.
Other than that, working, sleeping, playing games, my usual.
So I will go next because mine's easy. I haven't been doing much besides watching reruns of The League on Netflix right now because I'm on a ginormous fantasy football kick, and I've been doing way too much. This is why I can't play, and I'm in 2 leagues this year because I've been doing way too much research and trying to find sleepers and stuff. And then I realize just how much time I've spent, and I start to feel a little bad about myself. So I'm hoping that it tapers down after my Week 1 excitement for this other league because the other league I'm in, Week 1 was no big deal. I was like, oh, I'll set the lineup, and I walked away. But now I'm like, oh, my God, I got to fine-tune it. I'm trying to not tweak too much. But that's really about it. What else did I do? I played a little bit of Borderlands the pre-sequel this week because it was fun, and I haven't done it yet. Oh, and Star Wars Uprising, I think, the iPad/Google Android app. It's the game that takes place right after the fall of the Empire and Return of the Jedi. Really fun, and it's a free-to-play. Well, freemium, I guess. You can buy stuff in it if you want, but it's really fun.
What's it called again?
I think it's Star Wars Uprising.
Uprising?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have
I
it
just looked at that
down
on
here.
Google Play, and it has really, really bad reviews on the Google Play Store.
I've been playing it on Android, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it's Star Wars Uprising.
Okay.
Has a 4 out of 5 on the Google Play Store, 5.5 out of 10 on IGN, and 4 out of 5 on iTunes. So who knows? It is what it is. Either you have fun or you don't. If you
Yeah.
don't enjoy it, just uninstall. It's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been getting into. How about yourself, Jeannie? What have you been getting into?
I've started watching Mr. Robot, and
I've heard good
become
things.
convert, and I'm trying to convert everybody. It's an amazing, amazing show. the people that I know who are actually into hacking have told me it's the most accurate portrayal of hackers they've ever seen. There's no virtual Pac-Man going across the screen or anything like that.
It's not hackers where they're showing
words a
cameras
minute.
flying through imaginary servers.
No, none of that. But it's a really complex, dense story. It's really good. So I highly recommend it. I've also been, a friend of mine got me playing SimCity Build It, and I want to kill her. I've never gotten into any of the Sims games, and I don't understand why I'm into this one, but I like it. And as of this recording, we are now 88 days. 88 days left until The Force Awakens.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Not that we're counting down or anything.
So Force Awakens, Battlefront, shit's going down.
Well, it's the Disney marketing machine, let's be honest. Star Wars is everywhere.
Yeah, I'm also listening to the audiobook of Aftermath.
Oh, I need to read it. I heard it's very wedge-centric. The only thing that really turns me off on it a little bit is the fact that there's not much of the big three in there, and that's mostly what I care about knowing right now.
They're not in there at all.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing.
That bums me out.
That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, it is very wedge-centric.
Oh, and I did read issue 1 of the comic that takes place right after Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
I can't
how was
remember.
that?
I really enjoyed it. It's you meet Poe Dameron's parents, which was really cool. But I can't remember the name of it. Was it Shattered Galaxies, something like that? I pull up Comixology, it's in there. The artwork was fantastic, and it just literally starts to set everything up for everything that takes place right after Jedi, because it begins with the assault on the Death Star, and you meet one of Poe Dameron's parents, who is a pilot on the assault on the Death Star, while his other parent is on Endor as part of the assault team.
Oh, wow.
So he is literally a child of the rebellion.
Okay.
Really, really enjoyed it. Plus, you get some awesome Han and Chewie moments in it. I love me some Han Solo and Chewbacca. And if I can find the link, I'll send it to folks. I think it was IGN that put a video out last week that was everything we know that takes place after Return of the Jedi, based off of all the new books and comics that have come out. And they summed a lot of it up. And it kept me from having to read Aftermath right away. It's on my list, though.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait for Star Wars. I'm totally buying into all the marketing crap, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to read this and I want to play this. And
the day after it released, I went on a road trip, so I was able to listen to a bunch of Aftermath while I was on the road
that's
trip.
perfect then. I'm incredibly jealous. I will get to it at some point. I just don't know when. But Anthony, what have you been getting into? What are the plans for you, good sir?
I finished off week 12 of the Captain America training, which was good because I'm going to have to take it a little easy this week. Because I didn't get a giant stack of comics, because I went and dropped $200, turning the big red dot on my right shoulder into a giant ball of fire. So I got about 4 hours done in the chair yesterday, and now my arm is fucking killing me.
Just think Naki did 8.5.
I know. I can't believe she did that long in the chair. The worst I've ever done is I think I did 10 hours over the course of a day, but that was in a dude's apartment, and I was drinking the whole time. So
Yay!
he was doing filling on the back on my. I have wings on my back, and so yeah, if you're drunk the whole time, it's not that hard, and I wasn't in a shop. But yeah, the 4 hours yesterday was enough, and yeah, like this sucker goes, like it goes up past the wife beater up my neck, like that high stuff on the top of the shoulder. That shit got a little painful. But yeah, I'm stoked with it. I really like what he did. And I'm going back in November to get that touched up, and then he's going to do some add-on to my Chinese symbols there to make them pop a little more with the fire. Yeah, I did that. Getting back into trying to do daily sketches at work because we got caught up on basically a bunch of stuff. Took me 3 days to finish this one to see if I can get it on camera.
Nice.
There we go. Did my little BB-8. Been adding all that stuff up on my Instagram, doing warm-ups, so I'm doing those, and then doing my pacifist cards for the card game, still working on that, which you can still go download the free beta at pacifist.net. And I've decided for next month, October's coming up, which will be Inktober again, something Jake Parker started a couple years ago. And for a lot of artists that participate in it, he's basically doing ink sketch each day. And so I actually went and got the Star Wars trading card game on my phone, and it's 5 packets of cards, blah, blah, blah,
It's
whatever.
crack. It's crack.
It's cracked, but what it is a goddamn reference database of Star Wars characters, and so my goal is going to be for Inktober to do the 31 ink drawings in a row. I'm going to do 31 Star Wars characters. So those will be my warm-ups for all of October, so I'm looking forward to that because that'll be fun, and then I'll have, hopefully a nice stack of 31 different Star Wars characters that I've drawn to show off at the end of the month, which would be nice.
So I did forget one other thing that I had too. I got a new soundboard for the show because I bought a $99 Windows 10 tablet, or excuse me, it was Windows 8, and I updated it. But the kicker is it runs full-blown Windows, and it came with this nice little keyboard dock also, so it is basically
Nice.
a little netbook. And for soundboard purposes and basic web browsing and stuff like that, for $99, this refurb was worth it. I would not have paid the full $400 for it because Windows
no.
tablets are weird.
Define weird.
I can't find any apps that I want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but literally, it folds into basically a laptop clamshell.
Nice.
So
then
it's
you carry it
kind of
around.
like a smaller version of my Chromebook.
Yeah, it's It's basically the newest version of a netbook. Basically, is my takeaway. But for what I need here, it has a 12-hour battery life, and I can hook it into my system to run all of our sounds for the show. It was totally worth it as a $99 investment as a soundboard machine
Nice.
and backup recorder because I had it running recordings also with my other backup machine because I'm scared of losing recordings now. I super am, and it's all other people's fault for making me be scared. I blame them.
Sometimes you just lose a podcast. It happens, man.
Yeah, I guess
Oh.
so.
You just move on. You just move on.
Well, no joke. We've been very lucky because we use Hangouts on Air. But one time I actually had Hangouts on Air eat a podcast, and we only recorded 6 minutes of it to YouTube. So I was like, thank God for the backup recording.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
So even if you trust Google, they can let you down on occasion. So pro tip, if you're a podcaster, always run backups.
Damn it, Google.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On my show, on Tyrion's Landing, everybody who's on the show records.
Yeah. 2 is 1, 1 is none.
Exactly. Everyone, look, when we do a Skype one, I make sure everyone's got Skype recorder running at least so that we can record everything combined, then do individual tracks.
Nice.
Because I'm scared.
I would recommend switching to CallGraph, and the reason
Okay.
I recommend CallGraph is because it records in WAV.
Ooh, even
Yeah,
better.
that's what I use for mine when I'm doing my PC.
I might have to do that.
My understanding, it does not work on Windows 10 yet. So.
That's okay,
Or-
because the only thing I have running Windows 10 is this tablet. I will not upgrade my podcast rig until much closer to that year mark when the free upgrade goes away, because I had problems upgrading a laptop, and the last thing I need to do is take out my main podcasting rig with having install problems.
Yeah.
I can't be down on that. That would suck.
Hey,
Yeah.
You missed 4
Yeah.
days, you missed 18 podcasts, you'll be way behind.
Well, it won't be that many, but it would still be unpleasant, let's put it that way.
Well, come on, he's not Haley.
Yeah. She might be the new voice of the network as much as she's doing right now.
Big Papa will come looking for you. You missed that many podcasts.
Her and Nikki are planning on a Supergirl podcast too.
Yeah, I hadn't said anything about that one because I hadn't heard the official yay or nay on that one. But you heard it here first, heard it here.
Podcast about what?
We're doing one.
Supergirl.
Oh, Supergirl? Nice.
We got to have another TV podcast on the network, man.
I'm
Cover
just
all the
saying,
comments.
you can't just go to the Points of Interest Podcast Network and listen to the CMYK TV podcast where we talk about all the comic book TV shows.
Or you could go to tv.gonnageek.com.
Ooh.
Ooh. No, I got it.
Brawling.
Oh, damn.
We's brawling, yo. But
I'm
looking at
cross-promoting, bitch.
the time, though, we have run over as per normal. Sorry, guys. Thanks for sticking with us on our overage again. When I trim this down in Audacity, it'll probably be closer to an hour because I'll take out awkward white space and moments where I'm going, what do I talk about now? Things like that will go away. Don't worry. But before we get out of here, anyone have anything they want to promote or tell us where we can find more stuff from you? Willie, we'll go with you first.
I'm right here. Hey. That's about it.
That works. I was going to say you can go to twitch.tv/SouthPorky to find Willie's stuff. He'll generally be
Stick
playing,
with what he did. It was funnier.
but he's also right here.
Yeah, I'll be playing right after the show at 12:30. Come join me. Quiplash, twitch.tv/South
There you go. So we got that plug in. Now, Jeannie, where can we find you?
You can find me. I'm on I can talk, I swear. I am on Tyrion's Landing, which is on the Gonna Geek Network. You can find us at tyrionslanding.com. We are, as you might, if you're not familiar, we are a Game of Thrones podcast. I am also doing a movie podcast that is not on the network called More Than Chip Flicks, where we catch up on movies that we should have seen already.
Sounds good. And Anthony, we all know where we can find you. Here, Points of Interest podcasts. Where else? Anything I missed?
At Bachman Anthony on Instagram, at Anthony Bachman on Twitter, and go check out pacifist.net.
So this is where I'll point out you can find the podcast online at atgnpodcast.com, where the entire back catalog is stored, and our fun live page over at live.atgnpodcast.com, where you can watch the show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can watch it there at gonnageek.com/live and on Channel 3 of Alpha Geek Radio and Alpha Geek Video. Basically, our goal is to be everywhere you consume media. If you want to leave us feedback, you can send that to us on Twitter at ATGNpodcast or at Facebook at facebook.com/allthingsgoodnerdy. If you want to leave us a little more in-depth feedback or maybe more personal outside of social media, you can hit us up at our email, atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, or best of all, call the ATGN hotline. That's at 304-806-ATGN. That's the most entertaining way to get a hold of us and then mock us or belittle us or do whatever you want. Just ask Willie. He did it a few times, and now he's on the show.
I'd say 2 of the 3 people on the show right now, or 2 of the 3 people that have called in are on the show right now.
There's only been like 3 people who've called in total, so what does that go to tell you?
Harassment and Willie.
Actually, all 3 people that have called the voicemail have been on the show is what that means.
Yeah.
So, I completely forgot one thing. Listener feedback, and I apologize, I almost missed this. Last week on the show, we were talking about David Tennant and how he's going to be the Purple Man and Jessica Jones and how he's done all sorts of other things people should go check out. On the YouTube page, Sally Atticum had commented and said, regarding David Tennant, Secret Smile, which is something everyone told us we needed to watch, is online somewhere where he plays a psychopathic stalker/ex-boyfriend from hell. His portrayal of Hamlet is on PBS. You can watch it for free, which also stars Patrick Stewart. And his Much Ado About Nothing is available to watch online. She provided a link in the YouTube page.
Nice.
I believe that Hamlet is on YouTube as well.
Okay. So you can check it on YouTube or directly on PBS. It's free. She also mentioned that Kristen Ritter did a podcast and described her dynamic/relationship with Kilgrave as being like one of those, quote, awful crappy roller coasters. The kind that flips you upside down and blows fire at you and makes you throw up afterward. So that's what we have to look forward to in Jessica Jones.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I apologize, Sally. I almost forgot to bring up your feedback until the very end. My apologies.
Thanks, Sally.
Yes, thank you so much for chiming in. If you do comment on the YouTube page, I try and check that a couple times throughout the week, but your best way to chime in is to be part of our peanut gallery when we stream live, or hit us up on one of the social media sites, because YouTube comments are generally not on the top of my list because sometimes they're fairly toxic.
As we just saw.
Yeah. So, unless anyone's got anything else, I think that's going to wrap us up for this week. Anything?
That's it.
Britney'sBookblog.com.
Going once, going twice, and we're out of here. We'll see you guys back next week for another live episode on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. But until then, bye, guys.
Bacon and dick butts.
There's no way to chant that. Bacon!